to painting and decorating. Finally on this job, I'm about to show you how to hang the Wallrock thermal liner. It's really good stuff if you want to put, keep your room warm and you've got plastered walls and it's cold. Significantly reduces heat loss and room warm up times. So basically you still need to put heat into the room to keep it warm, but hardly anything, and it stays warm for a lot longer. So let's crack on. So that's my setup. I've got my bench, I've got my adhesive. You need a special adhesive for this, and I've got me enough paper to do that wall. I've sanded it down and I've sealed where necessary with diluted PVA, and that's dried off now, so I'm ready to put that on. Basically you treat it like wallpaper. So my first length is going to go on from the natural light, and I'm going to leave 1/4 of an inch on that edge, bottom edge, top edge to trim back. So measure your paper, working from the deepest part, measure your paper so it comes out, leaving 1/4 of an inch so you can cut off, and then plumb your line. Then you apply your adhesive to the wall, only up to the line, because it dries that quick. If you go over, you cause yourself a lot of trouble. So you've always got to keep your adhesive really neat. But I'll show you that in a minute. So first off is measuring and plumbing a line. Let's just have a look at some of the stuff before I plumb the line. This is the adhesive. Now it is special adhesive for this stuff. Let's just have a look how thick that is. It really is thick. Cracking stuff it is. Now you can see the yellow there. Make sure you stir it up. Couple of pair of scissors, depends sometimes which one cuts the paper best. Tape measure, paper hanging brush just to smooth it over. I'm using this small roller to apply the adhesive. You can use a larger one if you want. Right, that's for marking the edge of the paper. When you tuck it into the ceiling of the coving or into the side of the wall, skirting board, then you can mark it across with that. Then put your pencil line on, and then you can cut it. Obviously my plumb bob for plumbing my line. You can use a spirit level. Just before I forget, it's basically one of these tubs per roll generally, but this wall is that smooth, I'll probably get away with just using these tubs on that wall, and it's probably maybe 2 and a bit rolls I'm going to be using across there. See how it goes. It's 30 foot in a roll, so technically you might get 3 drops, 4 drops depending on the room. Looking at this room, probably only 3. This stuff has got fillers in it. I mean, it is really thick. Let's look at that. Don't thin it out, because it can go over uneven surfaces. It can fill holes in. You put it on really thick and just stick your paper to it. So you apply it to the wall and then stick your liner on top of it. When it comes to cutting this, it's quite thick, and I use a straight edge to get my line. So just using your pencil, just draw across. It's just good to keep everything nice and straight, so then you know your next length, you're not messing about. Now, it's not easy stuff to cut this. You can use a razor blade if you want, but I find scissors just right. But you have to really, you can't just cut through it, go like that. If you try and cut too much, you can snag the scissors. There's a lot of fibre in it. Make sure you apply plenty of adhesive. I'll just show you how thick that is. It really is thick. So like I say, that's what I'll put it on with. Make sure it's really thick and go into all the corners. I've got a brush and make sure you get it in. Don't matter about going on bits of the woodwork for the time being. Once you've got the paper on and you cut it back, it's just like paste. You wipe it all back. Don't allow it to dry because it dries like a rock. That's the first piece more or less on. I've only had to trim down that side where it was in the deepest. That side's just sat in nicely. So I've only got this bottom to trim. And I'll just show you. You've got to try and allow it to sit against that skirting board on the bottom. Now, once you've got it so far, you need a nice straight edge to cut in, to push into that corner there, and then just pull along like that. And once you've done that, you can then use your pencil just to mark it, and then it's ready to cut off. Try and be careful not to crease it. I mean, it is difficult stuff to use. And then once it's on, you've got to clean back that edge. Don't allow that to dry, because it goes off really quick, this stuff. So just clean back that edge, and then wipe all the areas down with a damp cloth, and you're ready for your next piece. Going alright. I'll show you one going up further down the wall because the light on this side's bad. With the next length, you've got to measure the first one and then mark again. Well, you don't have to put a full line, but a couple of marks so you know where you're going to with your adhesive, because again, you don't want to go over. Using a damp cloth, make sure you wipe the adhesive on the paper, don't let it dry. tough stuff to cut. I don't like using a razor blade because you can cut into the plaster work very easily and ruin your work. Now that top edge, you've got to get it as close as you can. But if there is anything left, a little bit of polyfiller and just go around that edge before you put your lining paper on, because this has to have a lining paper across it, fibre liner. Well, in fact, it doesn't have to, but to neaten up these joints so you can't see them completely, I always put a fibre liner across it. You can paint on this. Okay then, so I'll show you the finished wall in a minute, and that's it. Just thought I'd show you how I cut this in half, or whatever size you want for when you get to the corner. So it's 14 inches, well, 14 inches on your tape measure, put your thumb on it, and have your finger underneath. And then on the side of the bench, put your finger, you hold your thumb just under 14, pencil on the end of the tape measure. Pencil right on the end of the tape measure and just run it straight up. Right then, all finished. Yeah, look over that. It doesn't take that long, to be honest, to apply that stuff. It just depends what you're going round, windows or sockets and things like that. That wall wasn't too bad. I just had that one thing coming out there, popped a hole in, cut it back and then threaded it through, shut it up. I'm just pouring this stuff back. Done quite well with that. Now, we do have a few other videos on fitting this stuff to ceilings, around windows. So what I'll do is I'll leave the links in the description for you. That's it for this video.